Welcome to the Royal Navy Aircraft Carrier Quiz. There are 20 questions. Each question will appear on the screen with 3 possible answers. You'll have 5 seconds to select your answer. After the time is up, the correct answer will be revealed. Following the answer, a short piece of history will appear, providing more information about the topic. Which aircraft carrier was originally armed with 18-inch guns? HMS Furious, HMS Courageous, or HMS Glorious? The answer is HMS Furious, which began life officially classified as a light cruiser armed with 2 massive 18-inch guns, but she was quickly converted into an aircraft carrier. In 1918, her aircraft launched the first ever carrier-based airstrike, a raid on a German airship base. Which ship is shown in the photo below? HMS Glorious, HMS Argus, or HMS Eagle? The answer is HMS Eagle. HMS Eagle began life as a battleship for the Chilean Navy. Her construction was suspended during World War I, and the Royal Navy purchased her in 1918 to be converted into an aircraft carrier. She was sunk in August 1942 by a U-boat during Operation Pedestal. Which ship was the first designed and built from the keel up as an aircraft carrier? HMS Argus, HMS Hermes, or HMS Ark Royal? The answer is HMS Hermes. Despite being the first ship designed as an aircraft carrier, construction delays meant that HMS Hermes was commissioned after the Imperial Japanese Navy's Hosho, which was laid down later but completed first. HMS Hermes was sunk by Japanese air attack on the 9th of April 1942. Which was the last British aircraft carrier to be commissioned prior to World War II? HMS Ark Royal, HMS Illustrious, or HMS Unicorn? The answer is HMS Ark Royal. HMS Ark Royal had a remarkable career. She was the star of British propaganda and was claimed sunk by the Germans multiple times. Her aircraft was instrumental in hunting down the Bismarck, and she was a key vessel in the convoy battles of the Mediterranean. What was the fate of HMS Furious? Sold for scrap 1948, sunk by U-boat 1939, or sunk by gunfire 1940? The answer is sold for scrap in 1948. HMS Furious was used for various roles, including hunting German raiders and escorting convoys. She also served as a vital ferry, transporting hundreds of aircraft to key British bases and allies in Africa and Malta. By 1944, her age had caught up with her, and she was placed in reserve. Which was the first aircraft carrier sunk during World War II? HMS Glorious, HMS Courageous, or HMS Ark Royal? The answer is B, HMS Courageous. On the 17th of September 1939, just weeks into the war, HMS Courageous was on anti-submarine patrol off island. A German U-boat, U-29, stalked her for hours. The carrier turned into the wind to launch her planes, exposing her side to the submarine, which then fired the torpedoes that sank her in just 20 minutes. Which carrier engaged Italian cruisers with their 4.5-inch guns during the Battle of Cape Matapan? HMS Ark Royal, HMS Illustrious, or HMS Formidable? The answer is HMS Formidable. During the Battle of Cape Matapan in March 1941, HMS Formidable's dual-purpose guns briefly engaged the Italian cruisers in a night action. She was quickly ordered to turn out of the line away from the action. Which Illustrious-class carrier participated in the hunt for battleship Bismarck in May 1941? HMS Illustrious, HMS Formidable, or HMS Victorious? The answer is HMS Victorious. Despite having been commissioned just days before the hunt for the Bismarck began, HMS Victorious was ordered to join the pursuit. Her understrength air wing of Fairey Swordfish biplanes launched a courageous torpedo attack in foul weather, scoring the first hit on the German battleship. Which carrier did HMS Illustrious collide with in December 1941? HMS Ark Royal, HMS Formidable, or HMS Indomitable? The answer is HMS Formidable. The newly repaired HMS Illustrious collided with her sister ship HMS Formidable off the coast of New England, USA. The two carriers were part of a convoy headed east. The impact, during a moderate storm, caused significant damage to the bows of both ships, but resulted in no serious casualties. Which carrier was to have joined Force Z on its mission to deter the Japanese in late 1941? HMS Unicorn, HMS Victorious, or HMS Indomitable? The answer is HMS Indomitable. Recently commissioned HMS Indomitable ran aground on a coral reef off Jamaica in November 1941 during her working up exercises. This incident delayed her voyage and prevented her from joining Force Z, leaving HMS Prince of Wales and HMS Repulse without vital air cover. Which of these carriers did not participate in Operation Pedestal? HMS Illustrious, HMS Victorious, or HMS Indomitable? The answer is HMS Illustrious. At the time of Operation Pedestal, HMS Illustrious was operating in the Far East. During Operation Pedestal in August 1942, HMS Indomitable was damaged by two 500 kg bombs. Repairs took until February 1943. Which ship is shown in the photo below? HMS Indomitable, HMS Colossus, or HMS Implacable? The answer is HMS Implacable. HMS Implacable entered service in 1944 and took part in airstrikes against shipping off Norway. In 1945, she joined the British Pacific Fleet, where her aircraft attacked Japanese airfields and shipping. She was decommissioned in 1954 and broken up a year later. Which carrier served with the US Navy in 1943 under the codename USS Robin? HMS Victorious, HMS Indomitable, or HMS Implacable? And the answer is HMS Victorious. After American carrier losses in 1942, the Royal Navy loaned HMS Victorious to the US Pacific Fleet. She was given the radio codename USS Robin, and she operated with USS Saratoga. Her armoured flight deck proved highly resistant to damage, particularly when facing kamikaze attacks later in the war. Which carrier was designed as an aircraft repair ship and light aircraft carrier? HMS Colossus, HMS Unicorn, or HMS Implacable? The answer is HMS Unicorn. Built as the first purpose-designed aircraft maintenance ship, HMS Unicorn also saw combat duty during World War II. Later, during the Korean War, she became the only aircraft carrier to conduct ashore bombardments with her own guns, firing on targets on the coast. Which admiral commanded the British Pacific Fleet's air operations from November 1944? Bruce Fraser, Dennis Boyd, or Philip Vian? The answer is Admiral Philip Vian. Vian was a brilliant and aggressive tactician. A gunnery specialist who had commanded cruisers, he adapted exceptionally well to carrier warfare. He was considered one of the Royal Navy's most brilliant and distinguished naval commanders of World War II, in the respect of his American allies. Which aircraft carrier made history by hosting the first ever jet landing and takeoff? HMS Illustrious, HMS Ocean, or HMS Triumph? The answer is HMS Ocean. On the 3rd of December 1945, Lieutenant Commander Eric Winkle Brown of the Royal Navy made history by successfully completing the first landing and takeoff of a jet-powered aircraft, a de Havilland Sea Vampire, from the deck of HMS Ocean. Which aircraft carrier tested the first optical landing system? HMS Illustrious, HMS Victorious, or HMS Ocean? The answer is HMS Illustrious. The system, a British invention developed by Royal Navy Commander Nicholas Goodhart, was installed on HMS Illustrious in 1953 for initial trials. The tests were successful, paving the way for the system to be adopted by both the Royal Navy and later the US Navy. Which Illustrious class aircraft carrier and all its variants was in service the longest? HMS Victorious, HMS Indomitable, or HMS Implacable? The answer is HMS Victorious. She was the longest serving of her class, in commission from 1941 to 1968. After the war, she underwent a massive 8-year reconstruction, transforming her into almost a new ship with an angled flight deck and modern jet age capabilities. HMS Hermes was originally laid down under what plan name? HMS Centaur, HMS Perseus, or HMS Elephant? The answer is HMS Elephant. She was renamed HMS Hermes during construction as part of a post-World War II review. Her career spanned from propeller aircraft to Harriers, famously leading the Falklands Task Force as flagship in 1982. She was later sold to India and served as INS Virat until 2017. Which carrier was considered for reactivation during the Falklands War? HMS Albion, HMS Bulwark, or HMS Ark Royal? The answer is HMS Bulwark. Despite an initial plan to reactivate her, HMS Bulwark was not deployed to the Falklands War due to her poor condition. A survey found her machinery and structure were in a bad state, needing at least 8 months and significant funds to repair. With the war's rapid pace and limited manpower, a quick reactivation was not feasible. Thanks for taking the quiz. Next up will be US battleships, followed by British cruisers. If you have any suggestions for what quizzes I should do, then please let me know. Thanks again for taking the quiz.